I'm sure you've heard of Dr. Oz, maybe even watched some clips and laughed at him, but you know who's not laughing? Your mom and your grandma, who's buying all the dog shit that he keeps peddling.
Okay. If you're not talking like this guy, you're not Save Your Sleep. So something that's been really fascinating that we've been looking at this week is kind of how and why so many people tend to type themselves as Save Your Sleep or Save Your Introverted Functions, right? We used to have a saying that would say, like, if saviors are king, then introverted functions are queen, right? Because you got savior functions, introverted functions, and masculine functions all carry a lot of weight when it comes to somebody's type, right? Now, I think officially kind of what I'm defining in my mind here is I'm going to switch it. I think really it's all about our introverted functions, and then our savior functions are just kind of bitches for our introverted functions. Now, I've been running this kind of NI the past week, and it's made so much more sense, and everything as I'm looking at people, trying to understand and predict them, it's just made the typing process so much more efficient when I just made that little switch between saviors and introverted functions. Again, what I'm saying is we used to kind of think that saviors are the most important, and then introverted functions would be second. I think it's the other way around. I think it really is more about introverted functions are the most important, and then saviors are right underneath that. So let me kind of break that down, explain that, and then take a look at this guy who is actually truly Save Your Sleep, double introverted savior function. So I think what's happening is all of us, it's all about my way. My, D-I, way, O-I. Everybody is a selfish ass. So even the play EJs that try and give you the smoke screen of, oh, I care about everybody, channel change. No, they don't. No, they don't. And they'll even tell you when you talk to them, they're like, yeah, I'm just trying to figure out my way. Now, I'm only allowed to get to my way once a month, once every 10 years, whatever. But it's eventually down to their way, right? Because they'll finally have enough of your bullshit and they'll blow up the town and run away and scream and Karen and all the rest, right? They get all that energy out because they're frustrated they're not getting their way in some way, shape, or form. The savior sleeps on the other side of the spectrum are like, what's the problem? I'll just tell you my way. And so they're kind of known in the tribe as the selfish, controlling, narcissistic asses because they're triggering everybody because everybody's going, well, I want to be the controlling monster bitch and you're just doing it. You can't do that, right? So there's a lot of like flare up of like, how the hell are you just doing this consciously without hiding it underneath the extroverted functions? So this guy here, if you've seen him on YouTube, I'm sure, he pops up on the trending page a lot. And a lot of times what he pops up for is when he's standing up for somebody in the community where like, some YouTuber will get blocked or banned or kicked off, and he'll go and he'll attack YouTube, and he very righteously so. What's great about this guy is he says it how it is. He doesn't have a filter. He's got his way, his point of view, his perception, his understanding, and he just says it. He doesn't have to worry so much about the tribe's point of view or different information or whatever. Notice the low SE thumbnails here. Another thing I noticed too is like when you see something like this on somebody's channel trailer, like Darren Brown will have that when Darren Brown paints portraits of people, then he'll paint a portrait of himself, and it'll be very sad stuff. It's like, so like you'll see people, especially with demon emotions, it's a little bit of a cry for help. Like you're not going to put that if you're actually happy and everything else is great in the world. It's a little emotional leak outs, and then you ask your friend about it. They say, no, I'm fine, but it's a lie. So look for stuff like that, right? Now I wasn't able to figure out if he's double feminine or audio, and it's always the hardest thing to figure out through video if someone's double feminine or audio, right? He could be double masculine savior, so that could be what I'm seeing. So let me jump down to my best official guess. And this is after from watching this guy for a couple of years. So I got a pretty good idea who he is, right? So Savior Sleep, play last, he's going to have double activated TI and NI, and if those are both saviors and those are both masculine, that's going to be one hell of a guy. That's going to be exactly what you see here. This is going to be this guy that is just fucking funny as hell because it's going to be Savior Sleep cranked all the way up, just saying his inner world without a filter. Just very little slowdown on the outside world as far as SE or FE, right? All right, watch this first clip where he's talking about Dr. Oz and notice how he's putting everything in categories. And he's not censor-proofing everything so much. He's really kind of clumping it together.
You're better off getting your health advice from your local crackhead. At least he'll be more honest than Dr. Oz. You can really find endless examples of Dr. Oz lying about shit on his show in order to promote some new fat buster or magic cure to something. The main thing he always targets is fat busters, metabolism boosters, and just general magic pills.
So what's great is he throws in a gob of, here's some double observer, you go look at the articles yourself. Anyways, here's the general category of what Dr. Oz is doing. What's pretty funny is the internet found somebody that looks just like him, and probably a doppelganger. My guess would probably be somebody of the same or similar type. Oftentimes this is very true when you find somebody who is your same exact type. They may definitely look like you.
The thing is, my parents weren't afraid to just answer any question I had with the utmost truth. They were always honest and told me everything. So you can imagine my shock and surprise when the internet showed me yesterday that I have a Puerto Rican twin brother.
¿Qué está pasando, mi gente? Este es el critical puertorriqueño. Nada más quería decirle que me acabo de cagar el culo.
Like him.
Woo! Yeah, baby!
His name is Nathaniel, and if Dominic Toretto taught me anything, it's how to identify family when I see it. And you know what I see? I see family.
Dominic Toretto. So he's referring to the Fast and Furious guy, who also, I believe, is TI-NI. Might be Sleep Last Place, something like that. The real Dominic Toretto, whatever the hell his name is. Vin Diesel. Like his real life name is more fucking movie character. Anyways, the NI is linking back to a favorite story, right? Let's talk about twins for a second. So this is him with shorter hair. And just real quick, looking at the Bing, you get doppelgangers, and very often when we look into it, we find that people are the same or similar type. I haven't looked into this guy, but this is Ed Sheeran. We've seen him. I would guess this guy is the same or similar type. He definitely has an ESTJ look, if I could say so. These two are actors. I do believe they are the same type. And this is where Twin Strangers, the website, started because people online were finding people that look just like them. And as far as we looked into it, most of the time they were in fact the same type or damn close to the same type. But you get the game. So the Twin Strangers phenomenon, the Doppelganger phenomenon, like that's definitely our territory. That's where we're finding stuff. But it's not everybody of your type looks like you. But it is definitely an interesting phenomenon.
Though I'm also not convinced that he's just my doppelganger. I think this truly is me from a different timeline that has collided with ours, and now we're able to observe two Charleses at the same time. But during this Charles's wacky adventures through the multiverse, a different path was taken. You see, the hair is 2018 Charles White hair. He's got the exact look that I did in 2018. Curious. So perhaps this is me from the past with a couple of other modifications to the timeline. I'm no quantum physicist. I don't understand the inner workings of it. I'm sure someone much smarter than I could explain.
So, of course, he's joking here. He doesn't really mean that. But it's like his NI, let's say at the time if he's been studying multiverses and stuff like that. So when new sensory comes in, he's like, okay, how can I make a multiverse joke about that? How can I put some overlap? This is what the intuitive dominant's going to do is they're going to take a joke. They're going to take an analogy. They're going to take something that's not true and just build on it to where the sensory people start to get really nervous, right? Hold on, that's not provable. I don't think that's true, right? That's something to look for.
But yeah, I'm also going to openly admit that some of the comments actually had me giggling. So hats off to the people on TikTok that left some bangers on that video. Actual pretty good shit. Yeah, that's really all I wanted to talk about here for this. A lot of people sent me this video, and I just found it to be just really good, and I just wanted to talk about it for a little. That's about it.
Bye! So, yeah. And then he just disappears. I love that just jumps out of the video. Right, so he's like a little bit of a SEFE got in there. I saw some of your sensory. He didn't show it. I saw some of your sensory, and it was pretty funny. You got an emotional thing. Anyways, just wanted to say that and run away, right? So you still get the mope, where he's just going to kind of trail off the demon blast, you know, like talking less. There's a mopey guy. He looks like a fucking mopey guy. It's pretty funny when I was preparing these clips, I just had a picture up on my screen, and Shani hasn't seen this guy, and she's like, oh, mope? Keanu Reeves mope. Looks like a mope, Keanu Reeves function, but not Keanu Reeves? So coming back down to my sleep, coming back down to the same old thing that I've been kind of looking at, researching, and studying, and thinking about, and processing, and valuing this fucking week, is the introverted function. So somebody like himself, he's going to be like, I'm looking at my point of view. Now, what's weird is that a lot of times we'll get people that are this type, right? So a lot of people try and maneuver their results to be this type or something close to this type, some type of sleep something, right? And then you actually get a sleepy guy that everybody wants to be a TINI or NITI or whatever. And the last thing this guy wants to be, if he were to type himself, he's like, no, I'm not this type. I mean, he might be able to work it out. You know, seems pretty self-aware. But a lot of times the mopey guys, they'll be like, no, I'm really extrovert. I do a YouTube show. And we're like, yeah, you do, but like that's forced extrovertism, right? Because they're going to switch it around. Now, it makes sense with everybody else. They still have the same inner world that he has. Now, they don't have as many reps or development, but they still have look, I have my opinion. I have things I want to say. I mean, I have things that I want to talk about. I mean, I have imagination stories. It's like, yeah, but you don't go on fucking YouTube or anywhere in your life and just publicly share it nonstop most of the day that the tribe is fucking annoyed. Like, yeah, I heard your point of view. What about somebody else's point of view, right? But everybody has that playing in their head, right? Even super duper extroverts, they still have a lot of time where they're listening to their own selves in their head. So they're hearing and they're seeing and they're prioritizing their inner world, their introverted functions, and they're going, well, that's me. I kind of do think it is you. I think all of us are our introverted functions, and then the saviors are just kind of the ways that it's expressed, right? The saviors are where we're going to type somebody of here you are in the tribe. Here's the role you're playing. Here's the archetype you're playing. You're the mopey guy. You're the extroverted guy. You're the carpenter guy. You're the ST guy. You're the NF guy. Now we're all selfish asses down at the core, right? Which makes sense why and how Darren Brown always would talk about. He's angling that there's commonalities in everybody. So anyways, it's making more sense why people see themselves as an introverted type. They see themselves like this. But then what you're actually tracking as far as your type in the tribe is if somebody were to video you for a week, what would that video footage show? What would the video footage show? Hours and hours and hours a week, what would the video footage show? What is your life pile? What is your void? Who are you actually playing in the tribe? Are you the most mopey, selfish, controlling person in the tribe? Or you have that person inside, and you're spending a lot of time running around, gathering, and talking to everybody else.
Let me go ahead and show you one of his fat-busting gadgets that he promoted one time, called the Fat Magnet.
It's a difficult thing to do, so to help you out, we've got some gadgets going to help you slip off a little bit of that fat. The first is a gadget that actually helps you cut the fat quite literally. Let's see if it really works. What's this called?
Well, the name says it all. This is the Fat Magnet. And what this actually does is it skins the fat off from stews and chilies and different types of gravies. What you do is you just freeze this in the freezer for 2.5 hours, and then you glide it on top. And what this does is it gets rid of all of that grease.
Can you all see that?
Stop
So it
controlling
solidifies
things.
it, and then you can use a scraper to actually get rid of it. So it's
If I have to explain to you why this doesn't work, then you're already too far gone.